afternoon, garden friends. I am so behind, it's not funny. But what I'm going to be doing today is getting my herbs early started. I got some thyme, got some red Reuben basil, Genovius basil, some chives, and some English lavender. And part of the reason why I am doing this is I want to incorporate these herbs into my garden bed for the purpose of being a deterrent for insects and bugs that will decimate my plants. But also give a nice coloring to my garden. So what I did was I got these biodegradable cells that I'm going to put the herbs in and then get them ready to go into the greenhouse. And then I'm going to start doing some of my early sowing of seeds for my flowers. I got some triple berry scabieusis. I have some cosmos, and this is a new type. It's like a multicolor with the pinks and the burgundies mixed into it. I have some double mix paper flowers that I'm going to be sowing. Swamp milkweed. Those are the pin cushions, and then some gumfarina. And this is the thing. I am finding it to be more cost efficient, especially for the size of my yard, to go ahead and do my own sowing of seeds. And I will end up getting some other annuals, definitely my proven winners, bubblegum or that limoncello, I think it is, but I'll put the name of it up in the description, that I will probably purchase. So let's go ahead and get this done so I can get them in my greenhouse and they can start to germinate for me. Oh, and a couple of things, I got my labels, I got my little pokey thing to make sure, which I like this because it has on here the depth to make sure I'm going the right depth for planting the seeds. One of the things that I had started doing was heating up the potting soil to help alleviate gnats. And I had read that by pouring hot water on them, it kills the eggs and the larvae for the gnats, because apparently eggs and larvae are in the soil when we purchase them. That's why you end up having them in your house. But scalding hot water I use, gotta let it cool off a little bit because it's still a little warm before I go ahead and put my seeds in here. So let me let that cool off and then I'll get the rest of my stuff together. Let's go ahead and get these guys filled. We can go ahead and get these herbs planted. And this is some really good soil. It's by Jiffy. Just some really good potting soil. Sure it's nice, not tight, still nice and fluffy. Putting the seeds in. And then the good thing with going with these trays on them is that I can water at the base instead of on top. And by them being porous, it'll be able to soak in from the roots. Okay, so we're gonna first do the lavender. And you know, I want to have lavender all through my yard since I'm going with a reminiscence of romance for my garden. And lavender just adds that to it. Oh, these seeds are tiny. So let me do this. I'm going to poke a hole and do a set of 10. Oh, maybe I'll do 15. Because I do want a lot of lavender in my yard. Ooh, look at these guys. They are so tiny. So I'm gonna have to be careful how I put these in there. It might end up with some with more than one seed in it. But like I said, I want a lot of them, so I don't think you can have too many lavender plants in your garden. And then I'll just thin them out once they start to root. Now I'm going to do the basil, and I just so love the smell of basil, and I'm excited about the color. You know, you got the chartreuse color, and then I have that real pretty red Reuben that I'm going to do. And I think I'm going to just do 10 of these. Lay this down so I know what's what. Okay, next I'm going to do some thyme. I'll do 10 of those too. And this is the thing. For $1.69, and I do 10 and I get 5, I'm okay with that. I am so okay with that. If you go to the garden center, you're paying 5 something for one plant. Oh wow, these are even smaller. I saw somebody had a little tool that they use for the little tiny seeds. Definitely would be handy. Okay, and now I'm going to do the chives. And the good thing about the chives is they're big enough to where you can see them. And I think I'm going to do 3, 6, maybe 6. Okay, so 15. 6 chives, and then I'll do the rest in the red basil. At least with these, I can see them on the top. And now the basil. Let me get my marker and get these guys marked right quick. All right. I'm just gonna lightly cover these guys. Now these guys will go in the greenhouse with the grow lights and the heating pads. I'm gonna keep the heating pads low because, you know, we're having some pretty decent weather to where it's 60, I think it was like 61 today. So with the better weather, I'm gonna keep the heating pads on low. All right, so those guys are done. And then I'll put my dome on those. All right, so I'm gonna start getting my flowers planted. Now, the one thing, and I totally forgot about it, when we were in Hilton Head, one of the garden places that we visited, the gentleman there had given me some hibiscus seeds. I don't know what color they are, so I'm going to be surprised. But one of the things that he had mentioned was to soak the seeds to help with the germination. So I ended up soaking the seeds for 24 hours in warm water, and they did swell up a bit because I guess the shells on these are extremely hard. Now, he did tell me it probably will not flower this season, but my thing is, let's get it growing and look to see what ends up producing for next season. So I'm going to go ahead and get those. I got 12 seeds that I'm going to plant. You know, and this is the thing, you know, if I end up getting something out of this, this will be great. This will be really great. Because one of the things I am doing is our front entrance in our cul-de-sac. I'm going to be landscaping the front entrance so it looks really pretty. So like I said, the seeds are, wait a minute. How do I now only have 2, 4, 6, 7 seeds? Oh well. That's weird. I had 12 in here this morning. I think I need to ask my husband if he touched this. Let me just push these guys down. I'll probably put something else in here so I'm not wasting soil with empty containers. maybe what I'll do is I'll put the gumfrina in here, because I'm going to do 2 trays of the gumfrina because they did really well last year and they lasted so long. And there's a couple areas that throughout the garden, because of how full they get, that ooh, these seeds were coming out. I should have shook this down. But like I said, they end up doing really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these guys in here because they're gorgeous. I just so loved how it looked up in my secret garden. And I'm putting 2 seeds in each of the cells. And then one thing about the gumfrina, so I'm sowing everything is actually earlier than 6 to 8 weeks. I can transplant them after the last frost. So, and then they germinate in 5 to 14 days. And I know the last time I did these, it was amazing how quickly they came up. So let me put this here. Now the soil is already moist, but before I put the dome on top of it, I will spritz it. And I'm gonna put this here so that I know. I wanna do a couple containers of the gumfrina. This is the thing too, the good thing about these end up blooming towards the end of spring. And then pretty much all through the summer into the fall. That was my success with them last year. And then these guys get 18 to 28 inches tall. And one of the things that I do too, especially if I'm putting more than 2 seeds in here, is I like to put them off in the corner so that it'll make it a lot easier for when I go to separate them, thin them out. Okay. Next will be the pin cushions. And I'm also doing 2 trays of the pin cushions too. And these are scabiosis. And these were so pretty because it was a combination of whites, pinks, burgundies, and then almost chartreuse green color. And these guys get 24 to 36 inches tall. And this is the one thing about, seeds. You're going to get something, because I'm actually trying something new, which is a milkweed that I didn't do last year. So, all right. And these seeds are a lot bigger. I'm only putting 1 in these cells since I'm doing 2 trays of these. And some of the seeds that are small, I'm actually putting 2 in a cell, up my chances of making sure I get flowers. And then what I'll do before I put on, I'll tap the containers down just to make sure there's no air pockets in there. Something else that I'm growing is the adamindum or adamindes, the Asian vegetable, because my daughter and granddaughter just love these, and I love them too. All right. Next, we're going to do the cosmos. And I had success with these guys last year, but the one thing that I'm going to do differently, where I had put them, because they did so well, it literally took over, and it is definitely a flower that should be in the back of my garden. Because yeah, those guys got about this tall and I'm 5'9". That's one thing that I'm going to make sure the location that I'm putting these are where they need to be, in the back of my garden. And it's actually going to be up in my secret garden for the new area that we're going to be putting once I put the fence. We extend the fence. And then the other thing that I'm doing differently, last year I grew them inside the house under grow lights and heating pads. But now that I have my greenhouse, that's where I'm going to be putting these guys. That's one tray of cosmos. I am like so excited to seeing how the garden is going to look this year with everything that I am doing. Okay. All right, the next are my paper flowers. And it said, lightly cover with soil. Okay. Push those down. So I'm really excited about these guys. All right, and let's do the milkweed. This is in it. Okay, so these guys grow 32 to 48 inches tall. It takes a while for these seeds to germinate, 120 to 130 days. Interesting. Cut flowers, tender perennials. Wait a minute. Yeah. All right. So I've gotten all of my flowers that I'm sowing, and a lot of these are cut and come again, which they did very nicely last year. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 trays of 12. What is that? 90, 96. So I got 96 flowers that I will be hoping will pop up for me. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pound them down, get the lids on, and then get them over into the greenhouse. All right, so I got everything in here under the grow lights and also the heating pads. And oh guys, this is the ones that I actually did earlier. There were some days that went by. Look at my herbs. I've already got shoots coming up. Oh, it looks like I need to water this just a little bit more. I couldn't find my lid that went to this. I might put some cellophane on here. But yep, so these are all of my cut and come again that I am growing out in the greenhouse. Stays nice and toasty. And then these guys are my winter sows. I just brought them in here to see if it would help speed up the process of getting them to germinate. And then once again, my white lie roses that are going to be gorgeous. Oh my goodness, this one here too has a new shoot on it. Okay, so let me go ahead, get this closed down, and these guys being nice and toasty. All right, guys, I'm all done with my planting of my cut and come again flowers, and then some of my edamindens. So once again, thank you for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. I look forward to you checking out my next video.